We know automatic and quartz movements. There exists a movement called kinetic from Seiko, but actually it shouldn't have existed in the first place. Welcome back to Nishant's Vision. Today we're going to discuss about the Seiko Kinetic series, and I'm also giving away a Casio A158W-A1 for reaching 2000 subscribers on YouTube. To know more about the giveaway, I'll be discussing it at the end of the video, so please watch the video till the end. In 1996, the first Seiko Kinetic prototype was introduced, and 4 years later, it was commercially produced. These watches were very similar to an automatic watch, but had a quartz-driven system inside it. So normally in an automatic watch, you need to wind the watch so that the hairspring starts to move. With your movement, the watch also charges itself, and the power reserve of the automatic watches are normally 50 to 70 hours maximum. During that time, it might have been lesser. In a kinetic watch, it has a capacitor, or you call it as a battery, and a quartz crystal with 2 coils. So what will happen is, once you move your watch, you have a base plate which rotates like an automatic watch. So that starts to rotate and converts kinetic energy into electrical energy and stores that electrical energy in a capacitor. So these capacitors used to store energy for at least 10 to 15 days compared to only 2 days in an automatic watch. So this impressed many people, and they thought that kinetic is the future. But I don't know what happened to it. There are some models being sold till now, but we don't know why this was discontinued in Japan as well as USA, but still available in many other countries. So I don't know the reason why that has happened. It's not been officially announced by Seiko that these movements have been discontinued, but none of them are being produced at the moment. The last produced models were during 2020, and there was no other new models released. So there are more variations of the same model, maybe color, dial color or something like that. There's more of Perpetual than any other model at the moment. We don't have a solid proof that these movements have been discontinued by Seiko. It's still a mystery. You might be wondering, this watch did everything better than an automatic watch, but why did it fail? The reason is that if you keep this watch not used for a prolonged period of time, then the mechanism doesn't work as intended. So many people bought these watches, and if you see YouTube videos or Reddit posts saying that problem with kinetic watches, they say that they haven't used this watch for such a long time and used it again. It didn't work properly as intended. In the case of an automatic watch, you can wind the watch or keep it in a winder so that it automatically starts working and you won't have any problem with the watch as such. Only after a long period of 5 or 10 years, you'll have to service the watch to make sure the gears are working properly. But in this case, as there's a capacitor involved in this watch, the capacitor might fail. Normally, like a quartz watch, if you don't use a quartz watch for such a long time, your battery might leak or your battery dies and you have to change a new battery. But in this case, you might have to change a capacitor. So many people said that when this watch is not used for a prolonged period of time, the capacitor weakens and it doesn't charge the watch properly, or doesn't hold the charge in the watch. And so what they had to do is continuously shake the watch to make sure that the watch gets enough charge and the capacitor is full. But if the watch isn't used for nearly 10 years or has been used for 10 years and not used for 1 year in a row, what will happen is the capacitor might lose energy, or the capacitor might be deficient. So what they do is, they say that they can change the capacitor by themselves, which cost around 10 pounds, which is 1000 rupees. Or if you go to Seiko to change the capacitor, they charge you around 85 pounds or 8,500 rupees. So these capacitors aren't cheap either. In my case, I use an S&P 153. When I bought it at 2019, I used it continuously, so I didn't have any problem with the watch as such. But when I left the watch and moved to another country for 3 years and came back, the watch was completely dead. And I didn't understand. I thought this was an automatic watch, and I started shaking the watch. It didn't show any signs of life. So I started to shake the watch for nearly 15 to 20 minutes at a time, and still the seconds hand started to tick. Time was displayed very wrong, and I wore this watch for 7 days in a row to make it work as it's intended. When you buy a Perpetual calendar watch from this Kinetic series, it actually uses 2 different coils or motors. I'm not sure how it is. It uses 2 different things. So the power reserve for the calendar is different, and the power reserve for the timekeeping is quite different. So what will happen is, even if you don't use the watch for some time, your timekeeping might stop, but the Perpetual calendar keeps running to show accurate date till the year 2099. But if you don't use the watch for a prolonged period of time, the capacitor used will not supply any energy to the perpetual calendar. So what will happen is, you give movement to the watch, it will charge the timekeeping mode first, so that it will show you not the accurate time, but the time which was set last when it stopped, and the calendar doesn't work. So if you use it for prolonged periods of time, then only the calendar will work. And setting time, date and month in a perpetual calendar kinetic watch is very difficult. I tried doing it myself. It doesn't work like a normal watch, so you have to use, there's a way to actually set it which I have no idea about, and I tried it myself. It was very tough for me. If someone knows how to do it, please do comment down below. So what happened was that I had to go to a Seiko dealer. I went to 3 dealers actually. One was a multi-brand dealer and then a Seiko dealer. So multi-brand dealer told me that I've set everything perfectly, but they didn't do it perfectly, and my date was not in synchronization of the year and the month. The multi-brand dealer said that you'll have to service this watch for it to work properly, which will take around 10 to 15 days. But when I went to an authorized Seiko dealer, he looked at the watch and he said that there's no problem with the watch as such, because these capacitors or movements don't run out so quickly. If you have to buy this watch, you'll have to think about 2 things. First is the price point. The price point of these watches are 68,000 to 72,000 at the most. So they aren't cheap, and the movement is quite complicated and it is quite unreliable. If you want to wear this watch at night, especially the Perpetual S&P 153, it's a problem for you because you have no lume whatsoever. Only if there's a light source near your watch, you'll be able to see the time, or else you have no idea of seeing the time. There won't be any lume at all. So that was a major disappointment for me in this watch. What I feel is, these movements are priced so high. Do you have to actually own this kinetic watch? Nowadays, if you want to buy a watch from Seiko, you can get the automatic variants. There are so many cheaper automatic variants and classier looking watches than the premier kinetic models. There is even Presage, which is automatic, which is much better than these models. So I would recommend not to buy these models, because if these capacitors go off really quickly within your warranty limit, you'll have to spend at least 10,000 rupees to change these capacitors, which are going to give you problems in the future. Because at the moment, if you're buying a watch now, all these watches are predated to 2020. Probably there aren't any produced at the moment, so you'll get a very older watch when you're buying it now. So whatever is in stock may be 2020 or 2019. So already there'll be like 4 years or 5 years gap in the watch. And you get the watch and use it for 5 years, there'll totally be 10 years and problems will start to rise. So I would recommend not buying the kinetic model because they are outdated. It might look cool, but they are outdated. So my sincere request is, try to buy some other Seiko model than the kinetic. Thanks for staying till the end. To enter the giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and comment down below which is your favorite Casio watch. So at this point of time, I will be able to deliver this watch to Indian subscribers, as I have tied up with the Casio dealer to directly ship it from Casio warehouse to your place, so that you won't have any problems with the warranty. So I'm really sorry about that. For my next 5,000 subscribers giveaway, I am planning to do it internationally, and with your support, I hope it will happen. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace out.